Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Market Mindset. It's Andrew, and we're looking beyond the headlines to uncover structural shifts, big news, whatever is shaping the financial world, with a special, kind of focus on mining and energy. And today's story is a big news story because it's not just about dollars. It's about mining. It's about control. It's about leverage. It's about a pivot in global power. You name it. It's got all the drama wrapped into one. Big news from Glencore yesterday evening. A monumental 22 billion Australian strategic shift investment into Australia. And that makes a lot of sense. And we're going to ask a lot of questions about this too. But Australia, very much like Canada in many ways, it's a resource-rich country. It's a resource-based economy. Canada is as well, although hopefully, we've got a lot of issues here compared to Australia. This shows that there's money to be invested in the resource sector. Australia has the advantage of being obviously very short shipping lanes directly to China, which is going to be their natural seller, and a huge natural buyer of everything that you can process. But this $22 billion, and we'll get into it in detail, is not just to mine out of the ground. It is for processing as well. And of course, they'll still ship and trade to China, but I think they want to attract the U.S. market. And it brings up two things: A, that they understand this massive need in critical metals, in mining, and why they chose Australia, not Canada. That's another interesting question. But it also shines a light that this could happen in Canada if we gave the right environment. We're inching there. We're inching there. I mean, most people would assume I'm a big naysayer because I'm not a big fan of liberal policies in general. I've been very critical, but I'm hopeful. I really am hopeful because we've seen some good things out of Ontario, and our kind of case is always that if you're facing a consequential end of time event with the environment and with climate, then that has to supersede everything. That and the economy has to supersede everything regarding any social cause you have. And hopefully we'll see a lot of pushback towards all these special interest groups and people that get paid to protest and paid to stop project and paid to fight for causes, so that we could get work done and actually start producing stuff and producing solutions. And I think we're starting to see a bit of pushback. You're seeing it in Australia. You're seeing it in the US. No doubt. But I think we could see it here in Canada, and that would be a great sign. It would show that there's a seriousness to want the economy to work. Now, Glencore, if you're not aware, this is the largest commodity trading platform, as well as mining conglomerate. Absolute. I mean, they're massive, and this is a huge investment into Australia. And it's not only long-term projects. It's infrastructure development. It's putting, in their words, Australia as the cornerstone in the global metal supply chain. So that's great news for the sector. Sad news for Canada, because it really should be us, I would argue. Maybe there could be a pillar there and a pillar here in Canada. We would, and that's a question we all have to ask ourselves. Why are we not? We should be. As far as peoples, we're very, very similar to Australians. If you've met a lot of Australians or traveled through Australia, we're very, very similar. Even our politics over the centuries has been, very left kind of thing, and people are very friendly. It's more socialist type of thing, and we're just very similar. But they are way ahead of us on the idea of extraction, and the people seem to be a bit more open to it, or they understand it a bit more. But that's a problem, but also an opportunity, because all it takes is a bit of education from the current administration and government to just help the people understand and set up some campaigns, and also put it into maybe core curriculum in school to let people know that, yes, extraction is difficult. It's messy business. It's tough, but also infrastructure also is. Sewage treatment is messy business. It's necessary though. It's absolutely critical that we do these things for clean water and also just for the energy transition. So it's not a hard narrative. It's not a hard PR campaign to get people on side and on board. And I think it's coming. It's happening, and we're seeing that in Ontario, especially lately in the news a lot, with their critical metals plan, and they're pushing it forward. Now, of course, all the special interest groups are waving their hands and trying to get news stories out so they can get whatever it is they're looking for: more money, delay the time, whatever their action is, or whatever their mandate is for their special interest group. The media is more than happy to help them get their message out. But this is a huge deal. And so Australia, once again, like Canada, it's ESG compliant. Now, I don't like the ESG thing, and we kind of mentioned, if there's an environmental crisis, the S&G is next to near irrelevant. That's my argument, and I'll stand by it. Is that your social cause should not stop, or be an obstacle towards solving a crisis. If there is a crisis of the E kind, of the environmental kind, of the climate change, if that is an existential crisis, or the E, then that means you have to kind of be like that movie with Bruce Willis, Armageddon, all hands on deck, solve this problem at all costs. And that's what China does. They have a financial plan and a business model that they are going to be the producer, the clean energy superpower, the battery superpower, all of that. They're on track to do that at all costs, and we got to play catch up. Otherwise, we're not in the game, and there's no reason why we can't be. I've said that too much, but I like to repeat it because that's the core theme of this channel. It's not just to find really exciting development stories, or that we're on the cusp of, once again, especially in Canada, if we can get the economy going and people have some money, that they'll be open to investing in a lot of these projects and a lot of these ideas. And we're getting there. And I'm very hopeful. So what does this mean as far as Glencore geopolitically? It'll own the upstream leverage in the battery supply chain market, which is pretty fragmented right now. And there's lots of powers fighting right now. And that this power is shifting. And they're doubling down on, specifically, they've named nickel, cobalt, and copper. Copper is hands down great. We talk a lot about nickel and copper here, not as much about cobalt. There's some good cobalt, stories here in Canada. But these are the things that really are demanded in EVs, the robotic side, wind turbines, grid storage, AI infrastructure, all of it. They all require those metals. And just copper alone, the need by 2030, 2035 is incredible. And we've got some great projects. That Philo BHP deal down on the border of Argentina, incredible. And they had great news, I think it was a week ago, where they're expanding that project as well. Excellent. Some projects in Arizona that are getting green lit as well under the Trump administration. Fantastic news. So there's good things happening, and that is getting a lot of news, and people are very well aware of it, and it's great. And hopefully, once again, if we just get inflation under control, the economy under control, and provide a bit more opportunity for free cash flow, and to encourage people to invest, and not rather that government invests. I mean, it's nice that government's behind projects, but you want government to be the mouthpiece to back ideas, so that people invest, so that the people make the money. Having the government make the money doesn't help you in any way, shape, or form, unless you plan on being on subsidized payments from them, or that you require them to pay you. They're not a good vessel for investment into anything for your own future, other than the obvious taking care of roads, taking care of all that type of stuff. There's obvious costs that are required for government, but not for investable assets and whatnot. It should be that they green light, promote, encourage, incentivize, stop obstacles, make the pathway with permitting easy, once again, within regulations and environmental safety protocols, but to encourage business so that you, even as a low income wage earner, you could buy a penny stock. Like you could. You don't have to go buy Tesla. Like there's plenty of companies that have a lot of risk, but they have upside asymmetric possibility to them. And that's the stuff we like to talk about. And that there's a lot of dirty connotation about a penny stock, and rightfully so. It's a high risk area of investment, not unlike any venture cap, not unlike any crypto or anything. But it's, I would argue, a little bit easier to determine risk-wise a project that has the probability of doing better than others. And we talk about that quite often on the show. On our Substack, we've got plenty of material. I encourage you to go sign up for free there. We post into that a number of times a week. But here's the twist as well, which is interesting. This $22 billion includes coal, so met coal, thermal coal, and they're not walking away from it, nor should they. And my stance on that is also firm. Is that would it be great if China and India stopped using coal, and for a large part Germany? Yeah, that would make the air cleaner. They're not going to though, so they're getting it from somewhere. So you might as well sell it to them. There was you saw this kind of push that, well, Western companies have to sell their interests so that a developing country can buy the asset and they can run it. And you go, wait a second. How does that help the environment? And that's where it comes back to that S&G side. Oh, well, that's satisfying our social side. We're helping equalize payments along the world. And that's a strategy for failure, that type of model. But that's politics. We'll leave it alone. I mean, it's economics as well, but it's not hard to study. And anyone who's watched this channel that believes in responsibility and investing for yourself, getting yourself educated and up to speed on how markets work, you're unlikely in that category of thinking that just handing stuff to people is a very good strategy. So there's a lot happening there, and that's good news. It's big questions as well for Canada. It's a huge question mark, but I think some of these questions marks we're inching towards that. Once again, if we made it more attractive, those dollars would have no reason not coming here. All sorts of countries would look to invest. And that's a huge potential that we have. And maybe that means, writing in and encouraging your member of parliament, Carney or the party itself, and say, guys, attract investment capital. Let's go. It's for the cause you're fighting for. And if the people are on board, you never know, the government might change their mind. The other thing that's very interesting, and I saw this, I think it was just the other day, it was late at the end of the day, it was Florida Governor Ron DeSantis just signed a bill to begin the process of making gold and silver legal tender in the Sunshine State. That's a big deal. And I wanted to throw that in there because this isn't all just about Glencore. I want to talk about gold. Gold is the long-term outlook for gold is fantastic. Whether or not you like what's happening, as far as tariffs, this and that, all that kind of stuff. There's a debt issue in the States. They've got a big spending bill they're about to do as well. So this Governor DeSantis, quote unquote, says he signed this bill in Florida. Starting July 1st, 2026, they'll recognize gold and silver coins as legal tender, optional to use, but legal nonetheless. Of course, there's key details. It has to be stamped with weight, purity, and mint of origin. If you're buying gold coins, that's nothing strange or startling. Sales tax are eliminated on precious metals. Gold and silver can be used to pay state taxes. Businesses are not required to accept it, but licensed money services businesses must. So this isn't just a symbolic deal. This is a significant shift and acknowledgement of kind of hard money principles in this fiat world dominated by endless monetary expansion. And it comes at a good time because, once again, we talked a little bit about Doge and the money savings and whatnot. But this, I think it's called the Big Beautiful Package. I mean, I don't want to say the number. It's trillions that they're going to print to defend the economy or upstart the economy. That's, once again, whether you like them or dislike them, that's more money printing. And that means gold. It's going to be good times for gold. And if you're an optimist and you think this is going to stir so much of the economy and that stocks are going to rage, great. There's lots of stuff to invest in. But gold is going to look fantastic. And we're here to kind of reiterate that that safety with upside, and gold still has it. We're very excited about gold. I don't think I need to kind of reiterate that. We always talk about it, but it is fascinating to see in Florida that has occurred. Maybe it'll catch on. Maybe this is the kind of intro state to see how does this work. It's 2026, so it's a bit away, but still, this is an acknowledgement that that Ron DeSantis sees that the money printing issue is an issue, that there is massive money inflation, and that that there is a transition in the economy as well. And we see this too with a lot of the crypto and Bitcoin. Certainly the Trump administration, their entire executive side is all for crypto in every shape or form. Whether it's kind of Peter Thiel crowd, the Trump administration with their own coins. There was just the Bitcoin conference was in Las Vegas. I think it started on the 27th, and like the Trump family was there. 30,000 people, 400 speakers. Now we don't cover a lot of that kind of stuff, but it's important because it is an alternative system, and it's worth mentioning because I really do feel that they're going to push something. Now they may not get it passed through Congress, but they're really exploring if they can solve this this crisis of the dollar. And I think they're going to try to do something with a crypto and do something with the likes of a Ripple, say, or something like that. And that's they've got the team in place that have kind of greenlit saying that that's an indication of where they'd like to go. That something has to be done in regards to the amount of money that's being printed. I mean, everyone recognizes that. One side was banging on Biden because all the money printed, it was astonishing a number that he printed, and that, no, we're going to have Doge and we're going to clean it up. Well, looks like we're going to be printing more money. So we like to be as fair as possible on this channel because it isn't about the ideology. It's about where is there an opportunity, even if it's painful and even though it could be challenging or whatnot, there's always money to be made. And if it's not necessarily a huge upside, you can certainly protect. And that sometimes is just as valuable to be able to protect what you've got rather than have it eaten away by inflation at a rapid rate. Once again, there was a lot of people at that Bitcoin conference. I mean, I think JD Vance endorsed it. Nigel Farage was there. Of course, I mentioned the Trump family. Senator Cynthia Lummis was there talking about regulations. And it's not a foregone conclusion, but I've watched some interesting videos on like Bitcoin bonds that they might try to float the idea of. I mean, it's crazy. It's very interesting. Maybe I'll spend a bit of time putting something together on it. It's not really our focus, but it is interesting. It's one of those things that could come about under this administration. And listen, any idea is worth pursuing because you have to have a solution. It's just as valuable as saying we'll go back to a gold standard, which we're not. But we are going back to, in Florida, that gold is legally recognized. That's a huge deal. And that's going to be big news for all the gold bugs out there. And even if you're not a gold bug, I mean, anyone who's been buying coins, in concern for the past 8 years, we've been talking about it, will be very, very pleased to see this because it is a big signal and it's a big recognition by the incumbent party that this money printing is an issue. It certainly is. And once again, I bring up the Bitcoin stuff and the Trump family and everything because that lean towards that also shows that there's an acknowledgement that we're well aware of the issues. And that's in part why they had Doge. And you can think what one thinks about the success or failure of Doge and whatnot. And that's beyond the scope of this channel. But there is something's going to brew there. And that's why I'm going to take a quick peek at it probably a little bit to see there's something going to brew there because the team they've accumulated here in regards to crypto, if it doesn't mean they'll push anything through Congress, but they are going to explore ideas. But it's fascinating for us to see in regards to gold. It's good news. And once again, when you see a country like Australia get a $22 billion Australian dollar investment from a major commodity trading partner, that shows that country is doing something right. The fact that I think U.S. has got about $3.7 to $3.8 trillion investment in the last few months, that says they're doing something right. Even if you don't agree with everything, I'm not, once again, warning. How much has Canada taken in? How much could we take in? We could take in just as much as Australia, no problem, easily. I would argue even more because we're behind Australia. We need to get caught up. And we have, like, really, Canada is mining central. And we are, I would argue, the best at it, certainly the cleanest at it. We have this super strong ESG, laws and regulations and governance. We had that 10 years before that was even a catch term. And once again, I'd argue to some degree, too much of it. We need to, strip away a ton of the, even what the government says is the duplicate process of constantly, redoing, reports that were done 6 months earlier or a year earlier, 2 years older. And often that's just stalling tactics. So we're sitting at a chance where I think, as much as people are annoyed that there's no budget being put forward by the current government, I'm going to put on the fair hat and say, maybe, hopefully, they're looking at all of this and going, maybe we have to pivot. Maybe we do have to really take a look at this extraction stuff and encourage an investment. If we do it, it still follows their narrative. Even if they do some liquid natural gas, that's still part of the clean energy strategy. Even if they have to give up and do some oil and put some pipelines in, it might be worth it for them as far as PR. And once again, it would give them a massive win to turn around this economy. So my wishful thinking hat is saying, maybe give them time over the summer, and hopefully they'll see the opportunity they have. And we could have a couple of years that are great. Now, once again, regardless of social issues or where you think of policy and this and that and that, but as far as the economy, they have an opportunity. And you know what? I am hopeful. Now, it could be the fact that I'm just simply talking myself into hopeful, but like I've said before, sometimes it's easier to get through the day focused, solely on the positives and the hopeful. Because my whole career has been on risk management. Whether it was at Merrill Lynch, whether it was at Standard Life, whether it was with Walton, creating offshore captive insurance companies. I've always been a probabilities guy. When every decision I make is based on probability, it's always risk management. I always assume the worst and hope for the best, which can get quite grating over decades. That's how you view everything. So it's a lot easier, I'll tell you, to go, okay, I'm very critical of this and I'm concerned. I've got a strategy for that, but I'm going to spend most of my time going, but there's a hopeful silver lining that this could happen. And that's where I'm going to spend most of my day, with the plan in place over here with, say, gold as a foundation, to buoy us against inflation. And that's how we've looked at the market mindset, how our investments and how we approach investments as how we see the world. And that's part of this whole channel. The market mindset is the mindset of everything. And it comes from that background of working at, big investment dealers and big investment houses, and a long time in finance and in financial markets. And then translating that into that being a model for how to view your day to day. And I can also apply that to the fact that most people don't know. I was a very high level, elite level rower for a large part of my life. Trained to try to go to national team and everything else. And that takes a mindset that is not unlike if you want to do very well in a job or anything else, or if you're trying to make a high level sports team or make a college football team or basketball team or NFL or NHL. Is it requires a level of dedication of training 6 to 8 hours a day. And if you're doing that for your job and for your investments and for how to make money, there's no guarantee you're going to make it, but you're certainly going to be in that top category of people that have a higher probability. And that's what we're looking for, is that probability factor. And then we want to put the next layer of the probability factor to, do I have an opportunity to have an asymmetric gain? So not just 1 for 1, kind of like with odds. Do I have that horse with a 20 to 1 odd or one with like a 5,000 to 1 odds? You want to find one that the risk profile matches who you are and what you can take, but also has a mismatched upside gain. That's when we talk about asymmetric. That's what we're really talking about. So covered a lot of different things, shared a little bit of personal stuff about me as well, but it's good because we like to talk about that mindset part. Sometimes I think it's fluffy, but it's important because it got us through lockdowns. It got us through very tough and currently even tough economic times. And I think it's good to let people know, because we can go day to day with a big, happy, bright smile on our face and pretend everything's great. But we all know most people have extreme challenges right now. And that can excuse a lot of animosity, the agitation between different groups and whatnot. But once we recognize that we're all going through it, it's a little bit easier to go, well, you know what? That person might be acting very unhinged, but they might have good reason to. And maybe they just need a little bit of a break. And if we got a bit of a break, and if this economy turned itself around, and the gas pedal was taken off us, not only the gas lighting, but the gas pedal, believe me, a lot of these social crisis issues and a lot of the really fermenting and agitation, it will calm down a lot. And I think it's possible for that to happen. And even though the person I didn't want, that I wanted to win in the election for Canada, lead Canada, didn't win, I still think it's possible with this fellow who's in there now. And we've had some good indications, and we're seeing good things out of Ontario. We're seeing some good things out of their transportation and environment, not the environmental minister, not Keeper. He's got to go. Sorry. There's my one very firm political opinion. But there has been very good indicators that they are open to making the economy flow. And that is fantastic news. Anyways, everyone, it's beautiful out here. We're got to get into June. We'll still be yapping and ranting, and we're going to have a lot of good guests. We're going to have a lot of good gold companies coming up here pretty soon. I can't tell you who they are. We have to exactly set the date for some of them, but some fun stuff is coming. And make sure you stay in tune. Also, we get tons of people watching and tons of live people. If you could share, and also encourage people just to either subscribe to the Substack, it's free, but also just to our X or Twitter. That's what we're really trying to grow right now. That's our mainstay, and we would like to see that thing really blossom. So if you think someone would enjoy this, this little rant that we do a couple times a week, and some of the people that we have on, just sign up. It costs nothing to hit that click, or to send it to 2 or 3 friends and say, hey, I think you might find this person kind of funny or entertaining. We appreciate it. And we love all the feedback and all the emails and people writing and letting us know what they think. And enjoy this time here. We're going to have summer, and hopefully we'll see some good times here in the not too distant future. All the best to everyone. Take care.